Alright, this is a player review for C10 Chrono. He's this Tristana player in this particular game. The first thing I want to look through are the runes and masteries and the skill order. So, first thing, runes, nothing really. ADC runes are probably the easiest runes in the game, so nothing wrong here. Skill order, Tristana, I personally like E, W, Q, so I would like 1, 2, 3. Maxing E is pretty standard, so nothing wrong there. Um, yeah, it really pretty standard stuff here. You're dipping into ferocity. That's probably the best keystone. Um, yeah, overall this is pretty standard. Between bounty hunter and oppressor, it can go either way. Depends on your support. And with the Janna support, um, I mean, honestly, it's kind of splitting hairs. This is more of a reliable damage, like early in the game, and this is basically worthless until you at least kill the entire bot lane. So, I personally prefer mostly getting oppressor. Doesn't really matter all that much, but uh, yeah, and then standard stuff here. Getting banded is okay. Dangerous game is what more people get, but in low elos, bandit's definitely better because if you fail to CS a minion, you kind of get the consolation price of 1 gold. So I think bandit's fine. Um, yeah, so that's basically for runes and masteries. Let's jump into the game with the Tristana. Lock the camera on you.
What the fuck is going on?
Oh,
Hello there.
someone. Ari's
What's
gone.
up, guys? You're
I
here
hope
with
Ari
Bro,
doesn't. Okay,
dude.
hopefully she's gonna
What the
stay
fuck
in.
is going on?
If this is a 5v4 that I'm reviewing, it'd be
fucking
kind of
ready, let's
disappointing,
go.
but at least I could take a look on your
Alright,
2v2
alright.
laning. Okay, one thing here, you guys have a ward set up here that looks like it was placed by Vi, because your jungler knows what she's doing. You or your support should have placed a ward here, no matter what. Basically, anytime you have a Lee Sin on the enemy team, you're a medium chance of getting invaded. Lee Sin plus Lulu is pretty good, because he can engage and then she can follow up the engage with a slow. I think it's always safe to ward here and ward here if your jungler is starting here on the bottom side, because you need that vision. So one of you should have placed a trinket here. It'll be up by about 3 minutes if you place it here, and their jungler is definitely not going to be in your lane before 3 minutes. So do him a favor, do your jungler a favor, put a ward here, so that it covers the entrance to this brush and the entrance into the jungle. Okay, slow down the laning phase. Scroll back to when it starts. So you should first notice that they're both coming at the same time you are, so you should tell your jungler that Lee Sin started bottom. It's always a little bit of extra communication is helpful. Um, One thing you asked about was CSing. These first 3 minions are kind of awkward to worry about because of the jungle start, but I'm going to take a look at the wave and see how you could have best approached. So you're attacking this one. It looks like 2 of your caster minions are attacking it, so it's going to die first. The problem is these 2 are really comparable on health bars. So you killed this, which causes this one to die. It causes it to get low enough so that this caster minion kills it. I probably would have autoed this one first, and then gotten it down to that execute range where the 50 damage splash from killing this one. So I probably would have autoed this once, let these 2 minions hit this, and then autoed this, which would have killed both. I mean, Tristana's really finicky with her auto attack patterns because just the E splash damage is something you really got to get used to. The best advice for Tristana is to play like 20, literally 20 or 30 custom games, 1 versus 0, where it's like 1 versus a bot maybe, or truly 1 versus 0, where you're just practicing wave manipulation. Tristana's a good carry to practice on because she's got a really awkward mechanic with the splash, and if you can master Tristana's CSing, then you can pretty much master the other ADCs as well. But you can see you're gonna kill. Oh, look like you out of this one and then this one. Okay, so you did another smart thing, which was just allow them to spread out before you kill them. That's definitely a good idea. Um, okay, so you're focusing on these minions, which isn't a bad idea. She played the dumb thing here. You guys have a really unfavorable level 1 to these two, especially when you start E, which you should about 80% of games. So she was dumb. She was here. You were farming. That's a really frustrating thing that when you get matched with a bad support who doesn't know about trading, um, there wasn't much you could do other than just continue to farm so that you can push a level 2 advantage onto them. I guess I can see now why you went EQW was because you got such a bad level 1 with your bad support. EWQ gives you the advantage of being a little bit more aggressive. But holy crap. Yeah, she was way out of position. They did a good job at capitalizing on that. You did a good job at returning damage. But that was 99% Janna's fault there. I like the you're weaving in harass to Jinx. You overcommitted to that extra auto. You were taking damage from these minions while autoing. Um, you should have at least stepped into the rush to cancel minion damage. But I think you overcommitted to that last auto on here. Okay, you're walking around up here. I'm gonna scroll back. It's gonna go 15 seconds, so I'll see the end of that fight. But um, so you get this down low, and then you walk up here, and I don't know. Maybe you're just mousing over this little skirmish here, but you have no ability to impact that. So I don't know why you walk up here and kind of just for no reason not farm. It's gonna be in like 8 more seconds. So this farm here, you're up here. Lee Sin just killed Vi, so like you have that information on him and the wolf smite. Oh, that's his wolf smite. I'm gonna turn off red side. Okay, so right now as an ADC, here's kind of what I would be thinking of. My jungler just died here, which means Lee Sin's probably too weak to come fight me. Um, Even though Vi died, she probably brought him low enough so that he has to back. Maybe he'll take some camps and then back. But, so that basically is an open invitation for you to be aggressive as you can, either by shoving the wave or by just PvP harassing them. Right now, you're just super far back. I think your goal is to just scale up faster than them, but that's an unreliable goal in low elo games. Your goal should be to establish a lead as soon as you can. So you're up here. You've got nothing. You're basically inviting them to do all they want. You're not denying this cannon from Jinx, which is with especially in low elo. If you wanted to deny this cannon, just walk here and drop an E on her, and she's almost likely, like certainly, just gonna freaking walk away because in low elo they don't understand how to like efficiently trade. So what I would have done is at least deny this cannon. Yeah, yes, it's like 45 gold. It's not a lot, but every single cannon that you're not denying is like 1/6 of a kill that you're just saying, here, Jinx, have this 1/6 of a kill for free. So you should have, hopefully, like, I don't know. What Janna should have also done is given you the E to walk up and E her, so that you would have Janna's shield as protection against the Lulu damage, and you could have denied Jinx this crucial CS. Um, she seems to be bad, at least these first 2 minutes, but you could have at least safely gone and harassed her with E so that she jumps off of that cannon. I bet you she's just gonna get it for free. Oh, she's bad on her own and she doesn't know how to CS, so she lost it. Okay, her support's up here in the fog. There's two reasons that the support's up here. She's either warding this, which means she'll come back in like 1 second, you can see her, or she's going up here to help Lee Sin with something, but none of your team is invading, so she's probably going to come back. If she comes back this way, you need to be there to kill her. You're not level 3 yet, but you're like 1 CS away, so maybe you can kite this way while attacking this guy to get that level up, and then you can drop an E on her. Like, if she comes back this way, she is so split out from Jinx, you two could easily jump on her and at least harass half her HP down. So that's something you should be focusing on, is whenever their support is this far out of position, why are they out, and then how can I capitalize on them being out? Option B would be to jump on Jinx, but Jinx is basically shielded in these minions. And by the time you get to Jinx, Lulu can too, but your goal is to focus the most isolated target, which would have been Lulu up here. So if I'm correct, she's just warding this, and then she's going to come back over this ward again. Looks like she's going the safe route down. Okay, so posturing here wouldn't have actually resulted in anything. She took the safe route around. She did actually miss a good 2 or 3 CS from that in terms of experience. Um, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of her play. Um, you didn't lose anything by not pressuring this area, but it still would have been a good thing to do, is just pressure this area when she has the risk of coming back there. Setting this far back is acceptable now because you know this is not being targeted. These two are targeting this guy, it looks. So this will be safe. As soon as Jinx kills these, the wave will push up to here, and then you can get these 3. So I think staying back here is a good idea. Don't try and commit to this. You're just going to take a lot of poke, especially with Janna so far back. Good. So you're safely letting the wave reset a little bit up, so that was the right thing to do. When the wave is this far in your favor, you should note that they have a ward here. But when the wave is this far in your favor, your support needs to be in the brush right here. She's bad. Something you have to deal with. But essentially, as an ADC and a support, you need to be focusing on like danger zones that you're creating and danger zones that they're creating. So for example, Janna has almost no danger zones because she has no real spells that she can use to like set up a trade. What she does though is she enhances Tristana's danger zone. So Tristana at level 3 has a danger zone of about this much. So if you picture like a circle around Tristana, this is you casting E. And with Janna's shield, it's basically increasing the power of your E very, very significantly. So you've got this much danger zone with your E, and then a little bit bigger of a circle, like this much danger zone with your W. So you need to be using that danger zone to be zoning one of these or both of these off of these CS. So if you're standing here and farming, you've got this danger zone right here of you being able to engage on them. Meanwhile, Jinx's danger zone is like this with her auto attacks, and then like way out here with her W, but her W is pretty easy to dodge. So as long as you can sidestep her W, this isn't that much of a danger zone. Lulu has a danger zone about this, but it's just one poke. It's either her Q or her E that she's going to be using to poke. So basically my point is you have the most threatening danger zone as Tristana, so you have no reason to not be in this brush while farming these 2 blue creeps. You could be standing here and get both of them, and then when the wave resets up here, Jinx and Lulu are not going to want to come up and get these caster minions while you're in this brush, because you can E-auto them and get a really favorable trade with Janna's shield. But what you're doing is you're just standing back and giving them no reason to not take these CS. Janna wards this. Was it Janna? No, you warded this for no reason at all. Lulu's shown no willingness to stand in a brush. She wants to be up here in the wave, which is not a bad place for Lulu against a Tristana, because Lulu doesn't have much brush threat, so I think it's fine for her to not. There's no reason to be here. The only reason to be here is to deny Jinx from being here, but Jinx doesn't want to be here. I just don't think that ward is useful. I would rather you just save it on cooldown so that you can reward this, which goes out in like 10 seconds. It's a good trade. You were using your danger zone to your advantage. So she came within basically E range of you, and you used it correctly. Unfortunately, her shield helps negate your E, but it's still good to always just remind her that she shouldn't be up in your face. I need to lock this on you. Okay, that's another cannon minion you just gifted her for free. But Lulu was actually up far enough so that it was like Lulu was doing a good job at helping her ADC secure that cannon minion. You should be focusing on what the casters are attacking. You should not be attacking what the casters are attacking, just because their damage patterns can be so erratic. Um, you should focus because basically, if Jinx attacks you or if Lulu attacks you, the casters shift their attention to Jinx or Lulu. So while trading against or like while farming, try and attack, try and whittle down what the casters are not attacking because that's much more predictable and you're much less likely to miss the CS. And then let the casters get it down on their own to and execute health before you, because you missed probably 5 creeps in the last 2 waves, which is almost an entire wave. That was a decent trade. Janna wasted her Q, which meant the trade was kind of. I don't think I've seen Janna so far this entire game give you her E, which is part of the reason you guys are losing the lane, is because she's not using her power as it's intended. There's another CS that you lost because you're trying to help the casters kill the minion, which is too erratic in my opinion. Jinx is going to get this for free again. You didn't even try to E her. You have Janna Shield now, which is good. If you have Janna Shield, don't be afraid to literally W on top of them. Especially if it means that you get to reset your W with landing on the E. Man, your Janna is bad. Yeah, there wasn't anything you could do there. She's just bad. I hope that this isn't your friend Janna that I'm shit talking, because she really doesn't know her champion and she really doesn't know the support trading, like how to trade as a support. Okay, there's all this little action going on. There's all this action up here. You push the wave. I think that was a fair movement to make. Pushing the wave is fine because you know Jinx is gone. What you should do now is look at the items. See if she's got a trade advantage on you, and it actually looks like she doesn't because she's stupid and she went for this dagger instead of something else. She doesn't really have trade power on you. You both have BF and Doran's, so what that basically tells me is you both have a good ability to keep making trades. That Lee Sin gank was good. I want to scroll that back and see if there's anything you could have done, but I doubt it. Okay, I'm going to just go back 45, so I'm going to just go back to when you were still pushing. You had just pushed this. You actually only made it to halfway because Jinx got back faster than I thought. But basically, let's see. So, Janna used all 3 words? Where the hell? This word and this word? You should never have those doubled up. She's retarded. Where the hell's her 3rd ward? I have no freaking clue. So maybe it was swapped by someone, but I don't know. It's hard to tell. And you don't have a word. So it's unfortunate that all of your words are up here helping Talon. And actually, like, these 2 words are stupid. Like, I would like this one and then move this one here. But anyway, this one, I don't know. I think that's a waste. Whoever placed, it looks like you placed that. Yeah, they could tower dive you, but they can only really tower dive you when the wave is pushed. And you've got enough trading power against Jinx so that the wave should never really be pushed to your tower. So I think this ward is wasted. It helps prevent against tower dives if you were someone like Vayne, who's getting pushed in all the time. But it's Tristana. You have enough wave control that I don't see this being necessary. I would like to see that there. Yes, it's probably going to get killed here, and yes, it'll last here the entire game, but if this doesn't spot anyone, it's almost worthless. Especially because a tower dive would be so unlikely from them. I would rather see this pink placed here. That would have definitely seen Lee come in and would have stopped him from killing Janna, but so just maybe don't place wards here as Tristana unless you're really badly losing lane and getting shoved in. But so far, the wave has been even, if not slightly shoved against Jinx. So just keep that in mind. Then she's going to ward, so she places the pink there. So that kind of erases what I was saying. Even though the pink is there, somehow Lee Sin... Okay, he comes out of his try. Yeah, that was just good gank from him. It was a good flash to avoid the Jinx ult, but not a whole lot you could have done against that, other than maybe if this ward was here, you could have seen Lee Sin rotate down. I wanna check where Lee Sin was rotating from. Okay, so if I go all, okay, then I'm gonna follow Lee. So so this ward wouldn't have even helped. He rotated down from his red. So you were kind of screwed. That was a good gank from him. It was just good timing and good placement from him because your lane was slightly shoved. Not a lot you could have done there. Yeah, I wouldn't feel too bad about that gank. It was really well played by him and by Lulu. And by Jinx. Jinx landed that W, and then Lee followed up the W with his Q. So that was a good gank. Frustrating that your lane's now been ganked twice, but sometimes it happens. Okay, this is a good excuse for you to get killed. Vi was going down bot, but you had two options there that I think are both good. One option is you just back, let them get some tower damage. You pretty much have lost this lane now, mostly because of the Lee Sin ganks, but she's up 30 CS from you, so you almost have zero trading power against her now. And so as soon as this tower goes down, she's more motivated to go to mid, which is both good and bad. It's good for you because it gives you the chance to scale. It's obviously bad for mid because you don't want three people in his lane. So option one was for you to just back and let her get tower damage. You could have called Vi down to like defend the tower, which junglers love to get the lane EXP, so that might not, like, she probably would have. Option two would be to call Vi down. You could 2v2 defend the tower. But I don't like you defending this solo. I think if I was this Lulu who just hit level 6, I would probably just flash on top of you and ult you, and then Jinx could kill you. If they don't do that, then Lulu doesn't know how to play her champion. And so I see this in you dying, especially because Jinx hit that. You're lucky you got out when you did. So maybe Jinx was a little early in hitting that, which warned you that you're gonna get tower dove. But it's good that you left. You probably should have left 10 seconds earlier. Okay, at this point, you should look at the gold. You were barely able to pick up boots. You're super far behind. You need to be aware of that. Your tower's gone. Jinx is... You won't know this, but you know that you have 2.4k. She's got literally an entire BF sword up on you. So you need to not trade. You just need to scale while Janna roams. Janna should be roaming at this point to help just basically get vision and hopefully maybe help gank mid. It's a miracle you won this lane won this game with 9-0 after being this far behind. So we'll see how you do. It seems like later on in the game you're just fed kills and good team fights, but we'll see. You definitely did not win the laning phase, mostly from Lee Sin, partly because Janna sucks, and a little bit because of your own lack of aggression and CSing skills. But on their own, the lack of aggression and CSing would not have lost the lane at 9 minutes like you did, so don't blame yourself too hardly for this lane. So while you're CSing these, because you know you're not being threatened, you should keep an eye on the mini map out here. Um, that was a lucky rocket. That's lucky Talon. The rocket went up here. He's lucky. But you should be keeping an eye on the mini map. You should realize that you've got this entire corridor here without any wards whatsoever. So you standing here is risky. At least stand over here by the fountain so you can use it as like a shield. But okay, they showed mid, so you know you've got at least 12 or 15 seconds to push this next wave. But because the next wave wasn't yet there, I think backing off and just taking Gromp is the right decision. You should have taken Gromp. You should have taken Wolves. As an ADC who lost their lane, don't be afraid of taking jungle camps. You have 400 gold. Those camps wouldn't have helped a lot, but you should just might as well, like, you've probably spent the last 45 seconds now not getting any farm, not getting any levels, not placing any wards, kind of just walking back and forth. You could have taken Gromp and Wolves and gone to base and come back in the amount of time that you've wasted here. So, and you should always be looking for CS to gain as an ADC. You know what you're doing here. If you're checking for a pink, you know there wasn't a pink because you went through there earlier. Another thing you guys don't have at all is vision in this river, which is it's why she's gonna die here. Janna's just fast. She must be maxing W. Ouch. That was a good jump. Especially from a really fed Lee Sin. Yeah, so if you look at it, you've done almost 0 in the last 2 minutes. You haven't even cleared these 2 jungle camps. There wasn't much for you to do other than take those 2 jungle camps, so you might as well have done that. Hopefully this wave resets soon. It looks like it will because they have 7-8 caster minions right here, so it's definitely going to be here by the time you get there. So that should be what you're doing, is walking down to catch this wave that's going to come crashing into your turret. Janna doesn't need to be here hugging you. You don't need to be freezing this wave. You just lost like 400 HP trying to freeze the wave here, which is actually worse than freezing it here. If you freeze it here, then you can jump into your tower range. If you freeze it here, Ahri can just ult over the wall and kill you. So I don't like freezing it so far up here. You wasted a lot of HP in doing that. I want to see this fight though. I want to see how it actually begins. So you have no wards in river, so you don't really know what they're doing. The only ward you have is here. Wolf Smite sees them. So what that is, what Wolf Smite is going to be telling you is that they're coming up here. They're going to try and gank you. Your focus should be to get here as soon as possible, because he can dive you with Lulu ult. Even with Janna, like, I think you should just blow your W to get here as soon as possible. I don't know how Vi picks up a kill in the backside of this. We'll see. But right now, because of what you've gained from seeing this Wolf Smite, get to this tower ASAP. There's at least 2. You can see Jinx maybe by this 3rd ward. I'm going to turn back to just red side. Okay, so you can only see these 2. But that's enough for you to just run away. Okay, so that's what you do. You jump to the tower. So while Vi engages, you should have seen Vi charging upper Q. So you are motioning into there. That's good. I don't like you going in first, because Ahri is somewhere. I can't tell if... So she's queuing onto Jinx. That means Ahri is somewhere. Ahri's definitely in this fog. If I turn this on, she's right here. Actually, she's on top of the pink. Sorry, it's pretty late for me. Ahri's up here. Ahri can easily just jump over an EU and you're dead. If Ahri was down here, that'd be even more likely. So I'm gonna go with red vision. Um, I would. You don't. Like, you have to go in if Janna's being retarded and staying here. It's just this is a big risk. Maybe you guys could have gone in on her because she's really far out of position. Um, it's kind of a tough call. I think. Oh, you can't see Ari. You can see Ari from her own pink, but you can't from red vision. So it's just super risky. Knowing Ari's in here, but not knowing exactly where, is risky. Um, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that you blew W and Vi engaged anyway. But oh well. Let's see. I'm betting Ari tunnel vision's on Vi because it's bronze or silver. But the best thing for Ari to do would be wait for you to show yourself and kill you. Yeah, so Ari wastes her spells on Vi while Vi was mid-ult, so that's why you were able to win that fight. Ari blew all of her spells on someone who cannot be CC'd. Okay, so you basically traded a jungler for an AD carry, which is a pretty good trade when Dragon is gone. You know they're going to keep sieging, so basically what you should do is exactly what you're doing, which is waiting here, catch the wave, be able to clear the wave. The ghosts here tell you that they're running away. Most supports, when they know that you're under tower, they're going to throw out the ghosts as they're retreating so that you can't stop them. She's also stepping on this ward. So you know you're safe. Janna should not be here now that you're safe. Janna should be over here warding and contributing, which is what she's doing. Good. So Janna should be contributing to the mid lane and warding all this river stuff. You're backing because you can finish Zeal, I guess. That's not a terrible time to back. I probably would have caught one more wave before backing because after all of that, their team's definitely not going to stay here for 2 full minutes. So you might as well like get this wave. It's a pretty safe wave to get, and then back. Doesn't really matter. You wouldn't have gotten anything more than Zeal. So I mean, it was a fine time to back. You should take Gromp right now. You should take Gromp right now. No. Okay, well, I think you should take Gromp right now. There's nothing happening right now that you can join, and this is too unsafe to take with a Fed Ari and a Fed Xin. Or Fed Ari and a Fed Lee Sin. So, you're taking Wolves, which is fine. I think Gromp would have been better, because it would have kept you on the side of the lane. Oh well. It's fine. Also, another reason to take Gromp is it doesn't hurt Vi as much. Vi likes these because she likes to smite them for vision, and Vi likes these because they're close to the mid lane where she's going to be hanging out. So now you're backing mostly to heal and mostly because you have nothing to do. That's a reasonable. You should at least get a dagger. I don't know what the longsword is useful for. I like the idea of dagger because you can finish your boots. Unless you're building, what do they call it, Essence Reaver, this longsword's not useful to basically anything Tristana builds until Mercurial Scimitar. So I don't like it. Longsword's used in a third item purchase, not any of the first two. It's kind of just going to be wasted inventory spot. Yeah, that was unnecessary. Talon shouldn't have done that. He blew ult, flash, and he's going to have to back, which is basically going to, like, all of your wave clear is gone now. I don't like that Talon did that. I think you were noticing Ari coming up, so I think that rocket jump is a good thing. Because she queued right after you jump, and she hit Vi. If she had hit you, you would have been dead. Vi's a lot tankier than you. So I'm looking at this game and I'm wondering how the heck do you... Oh, it's a 38-minute game. That's probably how I get 9 kills. So I'm going to just speed this up a little bit. Not a whole lot to see. Looks like your team's going to take Dragon. That's an okay idea because you have all 5 members, and they might have all 5 members, but they might not. I think taking Dragon's fine. Um, their team's 5v5 is probably... It's probably about even with yours. I don't know why you guys peeled off a Dragon. You should have just finished it. At this point, you've been at Dragon so long, you should know there's 5. So you need to be positioning really well to not get killed. Yeah, you should help Vi in this fight here. That's good. Let all this happen. This is the safest place for you to kill, so I like that you helped kill Lee Sin because it was safest. Now is when you can start focusing on whoever's basically the most safe for you to kill. That Janna ult was kind of useless. I think you played that fight okay. Your positioning was pretty good during that fight. You kind of got locked in on this wall, which is really, really dangerous for AD carries without your rocket jump, because the wall makes it really easy for someone to aim skill shots. But other than like just kind of maybe getting too close to this wall, I think your positioning in that fight was pretty good, which is part of the reason you guys won the fight. Yeah, so you can see this longsword's going to be useless for the next 10 minutes. Catch this wave, what you're doing.
That's next level.
While you're catching the wave, it looks like Jinx is catching out your bad Talon, but there's not much you can do about that. Gromp's up, but yeah, let Vi take it because she's here. So you keep pushing a wave and then trying to rotate mid, and then going back and pushing a wave and trying to rotate mid. In low elo games, there seems to be this giant magnet in the mid lane that says everyone come here unless you're pushing a wave, or like, I don't know. It just seems like everyone goes to mid. Your freaking minimap is like everywhere is black, and that's partially Vi's fault, that's partially Janna's fault, and that's partially your fault. You should be making it so that you can at least get access to this line safely, which means ward this entrance to the jungle and ward this entrance to the jungle. If you have these 2 entrances to the jungle, ward it, you'll be able to safely farm at least this wave. I don't, like, you keep pushing and then feeling unsafe and going to mid, which is respectful because at least you're playing more cautiously than recklessly, which I think will help you climb, is to not die will help people climb. But I would like to see more decisiveness. You are currently lower than their entire team in levels, and a big part of that is because you're not really around enough dead minions to get enough EXP. So you're coming to help this ARAM because it's bronze and that's what people do. Meanwhile, while you guys are doing this mid, Fiora's taking your bottom lane. Talon needs to see that, so Talon saw that, that's good. I'm gonna scroll back and watch this fight because it actually resulted in a kill. Okay, so Vi engages on Jinx, and you get the kill. So basically, you guys, you're winning fights because Vi is ulting Jinx, and that's a good thing. I like that you're able to follow up on her. The rocket jump in wasn't a terrible idea then, because you know they were kiting back anyway, and they were probably not going to engage on you. Ari had blown her E before you rocket jumped, so I think rocket jumping in that case was a good thing. So you played that fight just fine as well. And because of the fight, Fiora feels insecure about going in her split push, and Fiora joined the ARAM mid, so Fiora should just keep you split pushing. Without Vi ult, you guys don't have a whole lot of threat against like a 5v4 or 5v3 even. Okay, so one thing you need to be concerned about is you're still not yet at your power spike, and Jinx is at a double power spike. So if Jinx doesn't get blown up in a fight, you guys are guaranteed to lose it. Right now, Vi has been really good at killing Jinx because she's got their team's gold, which is why you're winning fights. But just keep in mind for the rest of this game that Jinx is gigantic, you're not that big yet, and you should not be fighting around Jinx unless you can kill her. You guys are chasing this? This is going to result in you dying. He's going to round... Okay, Ari didn't use her E. If Ari used her E, he would have been dead. So Ari's bad. I don't think you guys should have chased that. I think you should have chased it around this way. This is the much safer way of pathing so that you don't get killed by an RE. Okay, so you need to be analyzing what are they going to gain from this? How are they going to play this? Looks like he's going to connect to this Q, which now gives him access to you. He probably doesn't have the mechanics to like insect you out here, but that's definitely something you should just always be wary of. Like, is even in bronze, Lee Sin can Q flash R and kick you this way. Maybe even if he flashes up here, then Lee can Q flash RU to this wall, and then Ari can follow it up. So basically, you just need to be aware. Lee has landed his Q. You're now at like high levels of danger from a fed Lee Sin being able to get right at you. Vladimir should do the good thing, which is to immediately pool until the E mark is removed. So you did another good thing, I guess the obvious thing, which was come get this farm, but you and Vlad stayed far apart, which is good. This brush right here is like super danger. This is like nuclear danger. Ari wasted her charm for no reason. Now that Ari's charm is gone, this brush is like zero threat. Ari's charm is back about now, so now she's really threatening. You're now here. You're basically here to catch the wave, not to fight. Janna's going back to base, so I hope she doesn't engage. There's somebody in this brush who's way out of position. This would be a good flash engage from Vi. You're coming to catch this wave. You rocket jumped out in time, which is good because this was going down. They had a double wave here. This was going down. It was. I'm glad you didn't get killed from that. Talon's really over trying. That was a really good rocket chompers. Flame chompers, I mean. So if Vi gets a flash ult onto Jinx, you guys win this fight and can easily get these two turrets. Yeah. She ults onto Lee Sin. You guys are gonna lose this fight. Fiora overcommitted to this rather than killing Talon. God, their Jinx is bad. She gets blown up from nothing. Talon didn't even have ult and Jinx died. That's another reason you guys are able to win these fights, is not only Jinx is getting blown up by Vi, but even when Jinx is not, Jinx is just bad. I want to see the end of that fight. Basically, as soon as Jinx dies, what do you do? So I want to see how Jinx dies. So Vlad missed yeah, she's way out of position and Vlad gets a good ult on her. Talon only was there to clean up, so he didn't even need to play. Okay, she used Flash to kill Talon. You need to be here with Vladimir. He's going to help you out more than Janna is, because Janna's already blown. Well, she actually still has ult, so no, you need to be here with Janna, but Janna needs to be your meat shield. I bet you Janna's going to run away because she's just been playing really badly all game. But you definitely need to be like right here, up, like hugging Janna as hard as you can while an Ahri is still alive to come. Like her next mission is to kill you. You need to be hugging her so that Ahri cannot. Yeah, that was your fault actually. You left Janna. You should be hugging Janna. As long as Ahri's alive, you need to basically be letting Janna suck your own dick, because you'll have stuff like that happen. Okay, you now have a reasonably strong power spike. You're able to actually contribute to 5v5s with more than just the damage from your E. If you notice in the last couple fights, the only real kills you got were from your E. Now you've got some nice crit stuff that you can do with your auto attack. So now you'll at least be able to kill their front line, which would be Lee Sin and Lulu and Ahri. Fiora probably, I don't know, Fiora's been doing weird things in fights. Anyway, you should just recognize now you have the damage to confidently fight over objectives. Unfortunately, he gets Dragon, right before you're able to like actually contest dragon, but you need to be swinging this power over here now, and or to just take these two turrets. I would probably have your team focus on these two turrets with your power spike.
Really?
Okay, so your team got a kill from them overstaying a dragon. So that Lee Sin shouldn't have been taking that dragon. He paid for it, and that's a good thing. You're not him because he's able to just W over the wall, which he probably did, but his team paid for it. So converting your power spike into these turrets is also a good thing. You should also recognize Vi has ult. She shouldn't be backing right now. She should be staying and killing Jinx. As soon as this tower drops, Jinx should drop right after. Talon blows up Jinx. He just got his Dusk Blade, so I can see that. Okay, so because of your two divers, you got 2 kills from that. That was an easy objective to take. You were basically gifted that because your Talon had his power spike and your Vi has just been like really aggressively playing. I don't think that she's playing extremely well, but she is playing aggressively enough that you guys can capitalize on it. But that was a good tower take, mainly because of Talon's power spike.
Fuck out of my face. Really?
And Talon in these low elo games is basically free low because stuff like this happens, where they're just fighting so often that he gets his Dusk Blade really early. Okay, you've got your full power spike. You're now huge. Jinx is not that much bigger than you. Jinx only has a Vamp Scepter on you compared to your items, so basically for all intents and purposes, you're just as strong as her. And you've got a better front line, and you've got a better engage, so your team needs to be focusing on getting these turrets now. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna go back about a minute and see where the heck did your team go wrong in letting them get Baron for free. So no one's on the map. I can see their pings, which I wish I couldn't, but their whole team is pinging Baron, which you can't see. Part of the problem is you've had this yellow trinket the entire time, and it's pretty much standard that an 80 carry gets blue trinket at 9 minutes, or at level 9 I mean. So part of the problem is like you should be able to trinket this. Anytime after 20 minutes, you should have a ward here or here at all times. This ward will catch them out of the Baron Pit, and a ward in the Baron Pit will catch them obviously in the Baron Pit. That's Janna's fault too. I don't know where her wards are. You've got literally 0 wards on your entire map, except for Wolf Smite. But I think you should have had a blue trinket and kept it in Baron. Like basically, your job is to keep these 2 wards. Whoever has a blue trinket needs to keep these 2 warded at all time with their blue trinket. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just because Lee Sin and Jinx take Baron so fast. I'm not sure what you're doing. Obviously, your whole team basically needs to just defend against Baron. Talon should be looking to assassinate while you guys defend. Your positioning right now is pretty good. I really don't like Janna getting her Zeke's Herald in this. Wow, how the heck did you guys... Okay, so they're sieging. You take a big chunk from Jinx's W. Vi goes in 1v4. And then Talon comes in and does a shitload of AoE. Yeah. Those are really, even though they had Baron buff, and even though they technically had more gold than you during that fight, Talon was able to basically ult all 5 of them, and then his W hit like 3 or 4 of them. So you guys kind of got carried by Talon in that fight, and you, as Tristana, did the correct thing, which was rocket jumping on the correct targets to get reset. So I think you played that fight just fine. As an ADC, you're kind of expected that your other lanes are setting up fights, and you're just going to position correctly, and you definitely did the right things in that fight. I'm just impressed with Talon's damage. I mean, they have 0 tanks, other than Lee Sin, who has 2 damage items and only 1 tank item, so I can see why they got blown up so hard. Plus, they died before Lulu was able to ult anyone. So you guys need to basically be focusing on Dragon at this point. You, as Tristana, should basically be man-hugging your Janna. Like, basically during any team fights or during any, like, times where you're grouped, you should be man-hugging Janna. During any times where you're able to split push, like Jinx is doing right now, she's safely split pushing, so she doesn't need to be man-hugging her support. But you're grouped with your team because it looks like your team is trying to get this tower. So you're kind of in the right spot, which is right here with your support. Any movement should be dictated by your support at this point in the game. Jinx showed bottom, so I don't know why you guys are acting so scared, other than I guess because Vi's in base. Broad stuff. Vladimir got caught out, and Talon used Vladimir's mistake to make Talon's own mistake. So now you guys have no ult from Talon, which is a huge chunk of your damage. They're going to get Dragon for free. And you guys should just let them, which you are, which is good. Like, they deserve to get Dragon for free after Talon blew his ult. Vladimir gets caught again, but because he's Vladimir, it doesn't matter. Vi wasted her Q to get away from a Lulu auto. Okay, you're basically just doing wave control, which is fine. More wave control, which is fine. You guys have nothing left to get other than mid tower, so you guys really need to get this soon. It's kind of hard to get, but you need to do this, and Talon needs to be up here trying to assassinate someone. So you got it, because you're Tristana. That's definitely fine. Jinx blew Trompers. You guys now have free access to this turret for the next like 20 seconds until Trompers are out. But it's pretty hard to siege against Jinx, Lulu, Ahri, just because their wave clears so much. Ahri is way out of position and she's gonna die from it. But you don't need to be here. You should be here to catch the wave. Or red buff, actually. Red buff is fine. Yep. Vi engaged. Super fed Talon jumping on their ADC. This fight is definitely yours to win. It's kind of sad because Jinx wasn't even that far out of position. Vi had to flash to engage on her, but no, she didn't. Okay, Jinx was a little bit out of position, but your positioning in that fight was good once again. I like that you jumped right before Lee died from your red buff. I don't know if it was intentional, but it was a nice double hop. But anyway, you won that fight mostly again because Jinx blew up before she could even use her ult. And definitely taking this tower is obviously the next best bet. You should also recognize this wave down here is huge. You guys are not really in a good spot to continue to siege because they're low. You can clear this wave and then you should probably go back. But this wave is also signifying that you guys have a play. Yeah, I don't like you guys staying with Jinx being up in her rocket, because Jinx can rocket probably, well, I don't know. This tower is probably fine to take. I was probably overestimating Jinx rocket, because Vladimir does have a bunch of HP with these items. Okay, you went for Bloodthirster. Um, I really don't like having Bloodthirster as a my lifesteal item against an Ari specifically, because so much of Ari's kit revolves around landing her charm on you. So you have two options of like dealing with that. You can just always avoid it, which sometimes you can't because like flash charm is a thing, or you can get Mercurial Scimitar, which will basically remove her charm from ever really affecting you. So against Inari, I really just like to get Mercurial Scimitar. If she charms you and you cleanse it, she's gonna lose that fight against you. But if she charms you and you don't cleanse it, then she will kill you. So I just like getting Mercurial against an Ari. It does take a lot more like awareness and a lot more skill to use it. But once you get used to using it, it's a lot. It should be what you get against an Ari all the time. So this is open. You guys need to get this. Um, keep Baron warded. Get this first, then do Baron. That's mostly Vi's and Janna's call to make, but that's what they should be making. Ignore this. This is just stupid stuff. Take this, then get Baron, then win the game. But if you get Baron, it's not really going to help you take this inhibitor because the inhibitor's already open. I think you guys should have just warded. Yeah, Janna took a lot of damage there. I think you should have just warded Baron, and then, excuse me, and then taken the inhibitor. And then if they started Baron, you would just Talon would be able to kill them because they'd all be grouped in this tiny area. Okay, Talon killed their ADC, so you guys win this fight again because Talon's doing his job. Your positioning is really strong. It might be a little bit overly cautious, but in a game like this, that doesn't really matter. No, take this inhib. Take this inhib. Take the frickin' inhib. You can literally take the inhib and then Baron, and then by the time you get Baron, this wave will be crashed because of the inhib. This was a really stupid call of Vi, or whoever called it. You should have taken the inhib. Inhibitor is more important than Baron. Okay, so you got Last Whisper, definitely an okay option because there's armor here. She's even starting to. She's building Last Whisper. I mean, she's building GA. Um, yeah, that's not a bad item. Okay, you guys have Dragon with Baron. That's kind of not that important. You need to get this inhibitor. This is, I think, your first stack of Dragon. Yeah, you guys. So it is nice to have that extra combat stats now, but Dragon's all not that important right now. You were a little bit out of position there, but they really didn't have any way to handle it, so. Vi's out here doing. She's almost dead. Vi should have just backed and then helped crash down top or mid. Yeah, this is a freaking huge wave. You should get this and probably end the game off of this wave. You got two cannon minions that are Baron empowered. You can probably get at least this and this, if not the entire game. Lee Sin's got 10 seconds, so you win this game. Yeah, so I mean, so overall, I would say your laning was weak mostly because of your lack of CS and because Janna was terrible. Um, well, you had three reasons you lost lane so hardly. First one is you yourself as an ADC were not aggressively posturing them off of the wave, which you can do as Tristana at Janna, especially if Janna is willing to give you her shield more often than she did. Second reason you lost the lane is because Janna was out of position way too often, and she just got harassed out by Jinx and by Lulu. So Janna's just really bad at positioning. The third reason that you lost the lane obviously was Lee Sin was ganking you really hard, and his first and second gank, I mean, they were both somewhat unavoidable, so he just ganked you at really good times. Your mid game, you were kind of ineffective at really doing anything at all, and part of that was just because you were so low and the other team was so big. But I think a little bit of that was like you seemed unsure of yourself. I would have at least taken some jungle camps. I would have at least sped up my power spike. But you did seem very comfortable with your power spike. So as soon as you got Infinity Edge Zeal, you were more willing to kind of play like aggressively. So I like that you're respecting your power spikes. And then definitely another good thing about this game was your team fight positioning seemed to be for the most part pretty solid. There was one little bit of positioning up here where Vi had ulted Jinx here, and he kind of walked like across this corridor right here, and a good Ari would have flashed Eju, and he would have died. But other than that, and then down here when you died to Ari, it's because Janna was here, and you walked into this brush, probably to back. I would have just stayed with Janna. Knowing that Ari was still sitting around here somewhere, you should always just stay with your support. That was probably the worst positioning mistake you made all game. There was a few instances of being out of position, like right here, but honestly, your team was so far ahead when you were here that like, the positioning by the end game wasn't all that important, especially because Tristana has so much dueling power 1v1. Um, but yeah, your positioning does seem to be solid. I think the biggest thing holding you back is how long it takes you to get your power spike. It took you almost 20 minutes to get IE Zeal because your CS was low. Um, you did miss a lot of minions in wave, and the only way to fix that is to do custom games so that you learn Tristana's farming patterns. But then by the mid game, you also were not really catching any CS because you were too scared to kind of push up. You should communicate with your support, and you should buy a blue trinket much, much, much earlier that will allow you to farm up to and past the river. But a good ADC should be able to maintain farm even after their turret is gone and even if they're behind in 2 or 3 kills. Because farming is just so important on an ADC. So I think that you would have had much more individual power, probably by 16 or 14 minutes if you had farmed correctly. Even after the tower was gone, you still should have been able to get more farm than you did. So definitely the weakest thing here was your farm, but you were able to carry mostly because Talon was making the right engages and because you were making the right follow-ups to those while staying safe. So overall, I think it was a good game.